American-made Solar Prize Round 4 Set Demo Day finalist announcement. We're very excited to have you all here for this event today. I'll be your host. I'm Debbie Roach from the National Renewable Energy Laboratory, and I'm also the American-Made Challenges Program Manager. So today we are thrilled to be joined by a guest speaker, William Huston of Bay Street Capital Holdings, and he will be here to talk about investing in renewable energy and how innovators can make their technology attractive to venture capitalists. We will also have a quick video to share from our Solar Prize team to all of you innovators out there. And then finally, Garrett Nielsen from the U.S. Department of Energy Solar Energy Technologies Office will be announcing the 10 finalists who are moving on in the Solar Prize Round 4. Each of these teams are going to be taking away $100,000 in cash prizes and then $75,000 in technical support vouchers. So it's a very exciting day for all of us. Before we dive into all of that, I would like to give a quick introduction to the Solar Prize and an overview of what Round 4 semifinalists have really accomplished so far. So the American-made Solar Prize was developed to help energize American ingenuity and empower innovators to create groundbreaking solutions to really help advance the solar industry in a lot of different ways. So with this prize structure, innovators are turning ideas into reality in just months instead of the years it normally would take. So it gives them access to a group of support organizations across the country who are called the American-Made Network. The Solar Prize itself is a $3 million prize competition designed to inspire, reward innovators, and really bring solar ideas to the market in a very manner. Each phase of this competition, participants progressively win larger and larger cash prizes, and they are making a difference in their technology along the way. So since December, 20 of our semifinalist teams have been competing in the Solar Prize Round 4. Each of these teams received $50,000 for their solutions to some of solar's toughest challenges. So after learning that they won the Ready contest and they became semifinalists, they got to work to further their technologies in the SET contest. So in March, teams uploaded pitch videos to be viewed by our panel of expert reviewers. These reviewers assess each technology, really discussing their viability, their market potential, and their proof of concept advancements through the prize competition. Yesterday was a big day because that was the day that each team had one-on-one Q&A sessions with this panel of expert reviewers. They got to answer questions about their innovations and really solidify what they submitted in their packet. So today we will find out which teams will become the finalists and move on to compete in the competition, the Go contest. But before we do that, I would like to quickly acknowledge and thank all of these 20 semifinalist teams for everything that they have achieved in the past several months during this competition. During a time when many businesses shut down and access to resources was not always available, you all persevered and found a way to truly be innovative and advance your solutions. And we are very, very proud of all of you. So thank you for your dedication, and I'm proud of the immense progress each of you have made throughout this competition. So now I would like to introduce our guest speaker for the day. It's William Huston. He is the founder of Bay Street Capital, a registered investment advisor based in Palo Alto, California. Bay Street manages a thematic portfolio around the future of energy and additive electronics. And the investment objective is always to invest through the lens of history in companies that will outperform over time. So William, thank you so much for being here today, and I'd like to turn it over to you next.
Thank you, everyone. And I don't know what it is about the competitive spirit in all of us, but I'm getting excited just waiting for the announcement. You know, I'm like on edge to see who's going to continue to move forward and tackle this huge problem that we're looking to solve for. So congratulations to everyone for what you've already accomplished. And the three things that I'd like to cover today, let's first talk about the scope of the problem that each of you are looking to solve for. And from there, the importance of diversity of thought as you look to solve for this problem, and the importance of the mentors that you'll come across as you're walking down this journey that you've started as a startup founder and team. I'd like to share from the investor's perspective and some things that you should be thinking about as you frame your solution around the problem that we're all looking to address. When it comes to climate change, one of the best criteria that I've come across is Bill Gates' approach when he breaks down the scale of the problem and uses the term green premiums to address how we can solve for that problem. So let's start with the issue of scale before we explore what a green premium actually is. In terms of amount, as a world, we're currently emitting 51 billion tons of carbon on a year-to-year basis. And it's hard for us to wrap our mind around that number, 51 billion tons of carbon. And hopefully after today, whether you've been in the energy space for a long time or you're just an individual in the audience listening for the first time, trying to get a sense of the scope, what these startups are solving for, everyone should be able to walk away and understand and appreciate this 51 billion ton number and how we can work collaboratively as investors, as a society, as technology companies to bring that number to zero. 51 billion to zero sounds humongous. And when I first heard it, my initial reaction was, why say zero? It seems so impossible, right? Like it's almost like a killjoy, if we're currently spending 51 billion and you tell someone you can't spend any to emit, it seems like impossible, And what I'd like to highlight today is that it is difficult, but difficult and impossible are two different things. And a lot of the companies that will be selected for this prize and moving forward can continue to frame their solutions in a way that will make that difficult outcome something that we realize as a society. Since this is a solar prize, I wanted to start out by speaking about a good old-fashioned power plant as a starting place. So let's say that we have a solar plant or a power plant, let's just use power plant, that is producing 500 megawatts of energy. For most of us, we'd wonder, is that a lot? Is that a little? And so we can break it down. So for those that don't know, a kilowatt is 1,000 watts. A megawatt is 1 million watts. And a gigawatt is 1 billion watts. And when you look at the whole world is using 5,000 gigawatts. The US is using 1,000 of those 5,000 gigawatts. A mid-sized city uses 1 gigawatt. A mid-sized town is using 1 megawatt. And a house is using 1 kilowatt. So now that we've got a framework for what these numbers are actually doing, we can understand from an energy generation standpoint how things break down and now start to look at solutions as it pertains to a green premium. So if we know we're spending 51 billion tons of carbon, we can first ask ourselves as a startup, if I'm going to pursue this solution, how much of the 51 billion tons of carbon does my solution address, right? And that's a simple math problem. You can, let's say, for example, you say, I'm working on something and it's going to remove 10 million tons per year of carbon if it's successful. The question you can ask yourself is that reasonable? Is it enough to pursue this path? So if you divide your 10 million tons that you're going to reduce, divided by the 51 billion that we're currently using, the math on that would be 0.019%. So it's a very small amount that you'd be reducing if you were to come to success. That's not necessarily a bad thing if that's a starting place. So if you're starting with 0.019%, but you believe that you can increase 2%, 0.5%, 0.1 or 0.1% as you gain efficiency and scale, then at 1%, I would say it starts to make sense from an investor's standpoint to invest in a solution for the purpose of addressing climate change. Anything that's not going to have that 1% potential, that doesn't mean that it's not worth pursuing. But since this is a clean energy contest and you're looking for clean energy investors, I would say be framing your solution and your ultimate goal in a way that's going to address at least 1% of that problem. And then when you're competing for those limited resources, it will make sense to pursue the solution that you have to lead to replacing the fossil fuels. So now we can talk about the green premium. Once you understand like what you're looking to solve for and you're looking for areas that you want to pursue, the best way to figure out, is it something the startup should bother with, would be looking at the green premium. And that premium is going to explain the current increased in cost that going green cost relative to the fossil fuel alternative. So right now it's called a green premium because most zero carbon solutions are more expensive than fossil fuel solutions. And that's because fossil fuel solutions, the the impact that they have on our climate is not included in the cost, right? And so as a result, it's not the appropriate price for a lot of fossil fuels is inappropriate because it doesn't account, we're not able to clearly see the impact on the environment. And so let's use jet fuel as an example. Let's say if we wanted to go green as it pertained to all flying. Right now, the cost of jet fuel is $2.20 for jet fuel. And we do have advanced biofuels. The cost for those are $5.35. So the green premium, if we wanted to stop emitting, would be the difference between those two prices. So we could take the $5.35, subtract it from 222, and you get $3.13. And that's a premium of 140%. So as a startup, that's a huge premium, right? If the answer to that would have been 2%, we could argue that we'd already be moving towards a green alternative. So be looking for investable opportunities that when you solve for them, you're drastically reducing the cost for a society to use that green alternative. Because once you do that, you have an extremely valuable commercial enterprise that is competitive with the fossil solution. And potentially you can even move to where you have a net premium to where it's cheaper to go with the green alternative that is zero emitting relative to the current fossil solution. So be thinking about what are the current premiums in the space that we are in, and look for ones that are relatively large so that as you're using these contest awards and accelerator awards and investment dollars, you're able to them and address it in areas that are currently cost prohibitive as it pertains to making that shift to go green. In terms of inspiration, an organization that you can point to would be breakthroughenergy.org. They also have the same rubric, the same criteria for investing in startups that have at least 1% of the current emission problem that they're solving for. And I'd also recommend reading the reports from IPCC, which is the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. It's a great way for you to keep up with the methodology that's being used and understanding how policymakers are looking at this issue so that as you frame your solution, it's in a way that the policymakers and investors alike will be able to appreciate. So now that we've touched on the scope of the issue that we're solving for and understanding green premiums as a startup founder and a startup team, so that you know kind of what you're pursuing, what's going to make your solution compatible and investable from an investor standpoint. I wanted to touch on, as you're building your teams and you're scaling up, the importance of diversity of thought. And the first thing that I'll say about this is trust the data. there's already a lot of data out there that explains that diversity leads to better outcomes. And as a as a startup founder, it's very difficult at times to get outside of the small group of the small team that you're working with to see a bigger picture. And one thing that I've seen organizations do and teams do to kind of address this is to continue to collaborate with a larger like a larger organization. So for example, regardless of if you move forward today or you end up reapplying for the next cycle, something like this, continue to keep the relationships that you've built during this process intact, because you never know, as we're collaboratively addressing an issue, where someone will be able to connect a link to solve for a problem that you're looking to accomplish. And the next piece, as founding teams, I would say, is be patient. So when you're looking at data, a lot of times you can see the percentage of startups that don't work, how long it takes to become profitable. And I would say, don't allow hubris to get in the way and shipwreck the importance of just being patient and being mindful. And the best example that I have for this is, if you're a fan of playing checkers, so when you play checkers, you can only move initially piece by piece. And as a startup, each one of those steps that you take needs to be very deliberate. It needs to be well thought out, because you can only do so much with the limited resources that you have. You just don't have the capacity to have a lot of waste. And the problem that you're solving for, also, we have limited resources to solve for. But as you play checkers, you can make a move to where you go from being able to move once to where you can king me, right? And the checkers, once king, can move freely across the board. And what I would like to encourage you with is, as you're looking to solve for these issues, each step that you take needs to be a deliberate one. But when you come to this solution, it should help people, and it should help us as a society be able to reach our full potential and move freely across the board, um, as we look to solve for this climate crisis that we're currently in. And if you're doing that and you're using the data that's available to us, it will also help most individuals who might not have the subject matter expertise that many of you on this call have, better understand the foundation and the groundwork and the basis on which and why we should be looking to move to a carbon-free future, and clear up a lot of the confusion around uh, what we should and should not be spending our resources on. So, in closing, I hope that each of you continue to work towards the solutions that you have to continue to help others. Look for solutions that are going to lead us into a carbon-free future and also help others reach their full potential. Thank you, everyone. And again, congratulations for everyone who's made it this far and for the upcoming announcements that we'll have in just a bit.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And I really, really like the analogy. I do believe that taking little steps at a time will really add up to a lot at the end. And I really look at something like the Solar Prize as being one of those first steps for all of these teams, whether or not you win or you don't win today. You've taken that first step already, and hopefully it'll help propel you into the future. So thanks a lot for being with us today, William. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Awesome. So that was a great lead in, I think. The next thing on our agenda is a short video that from our Solar Prize team. So I'm going to hand it to Jackie to start that video. Thanks.
Hey Solar Prize Round 4 Innovators. I'm so happy to see that you all made it to Set Demo Day. Thank you so much for all of your hard work to get to this point. Can't wait to see your wonderful solutions. The best of luck to you all.
On behalf of the entire team at the Wilton E. Scott Institute for Energy Innovation at Carnegie Mellon University, I'd like to wish a hearty congratulations to the winners of the American-made Solar Prize Round 4 SET competition. Awesome news. Congratulations.
Congratulations to all the competitors for making it to SET Demo Day. We continue to be inspired and impressed by all the amazing work and dedication you have to your innovations. Good luck.
Semi-finalists, I've really enjoyed talking to each of you over the past few weeks about your progress. Your passion and innovation is inspiring, and I can't wait to see your technologies continue moving closer to market. Good luck at SET Demo Day.
From all of us here at the University of Arizona Center for Innovation, congratulations for your accomplishments in the American-made Solar Prize Challenge. We are proud to propel your success and look forward to all that you accomplish.
Congratulations, Solar Prize Round 4 teams, on making it to SET Demo Day. This is a big accomplishment, and we're so excited for all the progress you've made over the past 4 months. Regardless of the outcome of today, you should be proud of your work, and we look forward to seeing what you continue to do.
Thanks for pulling that together, Jackie. Jackie, and most of you guys know her. She's on our comms team. She does excellent work, and we really appreciate that video. Thank you. I know that all of the NREL and DOE, really respect all of the work that you guys have done. So we're really proud of the progress that you've made over the last several months, if that video wasn't clear enough. So I wanted to let you know that. So next, I would like to hand things over to Garrett Nielsen. He's the Deputy Director of the Solar Energy Technologies Office at the U.S. Department of Energy. He is going to be announcing our finalists, which is the very exciting moment that you've all been waiting for. So thank you so much for being with us, Garrett. I'm going to hand it over to you next.
All right, thank you very much, Debbie. I assume folks can hear me, so I'll just dive right in. Yeah, thank you again, Debbie, and thank you to all of our semifinalist teams for your dedication to advancing the solar industry and advancing our ideas. We know everything's been made a bit tougher with the pandemic going on, but we've really been impressed with the work you've been able to do and how you've been able to move your ideas forward. The Department of Energy is excited to support research and development projects like the ones you're all involved in order to create new technologies to make the solar energy more affordable, reliable, secure, and accessible at an affordable rate to all Americans. It's especially exciting to do this through prize competitions because they help disrupt traditional ways of thinking, both in terms of how we fund things and how people might develop and move ideas forward. And it's these new ideas that are essential for changing the world and seeing what's possible. And expanding possibilities in energy innovation is critical right now as we confront climate change and work towards the administration's goal of having a clean electricity sector by 2030. You're all part of this mission, and we need all of you to keep working no matter who becomes a finalist today. The Department of Energy's Solar Energy Technologies Office is here to help. We have multiple funding opportunities to fund solar innovation that support the growth of the U.S. manufacturing sector and develop new products. This prize program is on the order of $3 million per round in terms of awards. Our office funds $280 million worth of research a year, so there's a lot of other opportunities potentially out there for you. The newest opportunity is the American-made Perovskite Startup Prize, which was announced just 2 weeks ago. For the uninitiated, perovskites are a family of emerging solar cell materials that have shown potential to create high-performance solar cells, but with very low production costs. The Perovskite Startup Prize is a $3 million competition designed to accelerate the commercialization of solar perovskite technologies by moving world-class research out of the lab and into brand new U.S.-based companies. If you're interested in competing, mark your calendars. Next Tuesday, the Solar Office is holding a webinar to explain more about the Perovskite Prize. On Tuesday the 17th, it's going to be starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. You can register for this webinar through the link in the chat, and we look forward to seeing you there. In just a few moments, I'll be announcing the 10 teams that are finalists for the round 4 of the American-made Solar Prize. These teams will receive $100,000 in cash prizes and $75,000 in support vouchers for their innovative solutions. From here, the 10 finalists will continue advancing their technologies and present their prototypes at a demo day this fall. And now, here are the Solar Prize Round 4 finalist teams. First, AeroShield Materials from Hyde Park, Massachusetts. This team is developing a flat plate solar thermal energy collector system with transparent aerogel insulation that operates at more than 150 degrees Celsius with efficiencies of greater than 60% that could potentially be used in the industrial process heat market space. Congratulations. Next up, Cool Tech Solar from North Oaks, Minnesota. This team is creating a nano-textured heat sink material for the back of solar panels to increase the surface area that's used to dissipate the heat from a module, lowering its peak operating temperature, which can improve its power output and potentially increase its operational lifetime. Congratulations to Cool Tech. Next, Energy for All from Elk Ridge, Maryland. This team is developing a cell-level battery management and reconditioning device to reduce battery degradation and extend the life of new and recycled batteries by up to 30%, lowering the cost of storage that can be used to help integrate solar energy with the electric grid and in buildings. Congratulations. Next is the Hawaii Innovation Lab from Honolulu, Hawaii. This team is developing a room temperature deposit liquid metal alloy that can be spray coated onto mirrors used in concentrating solar power parabolic trough systems. Congratulations. Along the same vein of spray coating, next is NanoSpray from Brooklyn, New York. This team is developing a highly conductive spray-coated back contact for cadmium telluride solar panels to reduce costs and increase efficiency. Next is Pellissier Technologies from Houston, Texas. This team is developing a nanostructured silica shield for solar panels to prevent dirt buildup that can also be retrofitted onto solar modules that are already in the field, increasing their performance by mitigating dust. Moving along is Rocking Solar from Monroe, Ohio. This team is developing a solar panel tracker system that tracks the sun using a rocking motion, reducing the weight of a PV tracking system and the number of roof penetrations usually required for installation. This could allow single-axis tracking for flat rooftops, such as various commercial spaces. Next is Super Clean Glass from Stony Brook, New York. This team uses an electrodynamic shield to repel dust from solar panels and can save up to 98% of the solar energy lost due to soiling, hopefully increasing the power output of systems in many of the highest irradiant but dustiest places in the U.S. and on Earth. Next is the R&D Lab in Petaluma, California. This team is designing a residential metal roofing product that matches the color of the roof to the solar panels and increases the speed of installation. This can help improve the aesthetics of solar, hopefully opening new markets of adopters. And finally, but certainly not least, Urban Energy from Brooklyn, New York. This team is developing a rooftop solar canopy racking system that avoids penetration and can increase the system size that can be deployed on the tops of multifamily buildings. I want to congratulate all of the Solar Prize Round 4 finalists. I look forward to seeing what you can accomplish in the demo day later this year when you compete for the grand prize. I want to thank all the teams that participated. The 10 teams I have not named, remember, you still have access to the American Made Network, which you can use to help your journey forward. And we certainly encourage you to continue to develop your ideas. As mentioned earlier, a lot of deployment is needed to hit the U.S.'s clean electricity goals, and the innovation cannot stop if we're going to do that. So please, I encourage you to continue working on your ideas, come up with more ideas, and we're excited to see what you do as well. I encourage all of you to seek out new opportunities to advance your technology. The Solar Office recently announced a new $40 million funding opportunity that includes photovoltaics and concentrating solar thermal power. And then there are other avenues that you can explore with the Department of Energy as well, such as SBIR, the Solar Business Innovation Research Program, and the Technology Commercialization Fund. This is in addition to the regular funding that our office provides from our manufacturing competitiveness team to help support entrepreneurs like yourselves. To know when these new opportunities come, please sign up for the Solar Office newsletter that you can see on this slide, so you can stay up to date as to what is happening in CEDO, what we're going to be doing in terms of funding, and the application deadline. Finally, I have to thank all of our expert reviewers who spent hours reviewing your materials, talking all with you, working with the DOE to make Demo Day such a success. I'd like to thank Beth Kopanis of RES, Suvi Sharma of Solaria, and Shannon Ware of Simple Ray for being a critical part of the SET Demo Day and making this whole episode such a success. Also, from the DOE, I'd like to extend my thanks to the entire National Renewable Energy Lab team that has helped execute on this program. Without them running logistics and managing this whole process, it is something that we absolutely need to be able to execute programs and help innovators like yourselves move your ideas forward. And they're going to continue helping all of you into the future. And look out for the many, many great prizes that this team runs across a variety of technology spaces. And I'd also like to extend a thanks to the team at the Department of Energy who helps manage this, specifically Peter Lovacaro, Victor Kane, who really dedicated endless hours to be able to make this such a success and design these programs from the start. So good luck to all of our finalists. Thank you, everybody, for making all this possible. And I look forward to seeing where the solar industry and these ideas can go from here. Back to you, Debbie.
Thank you, Garrett. Thank you so much for participating in our Demo Day and announcing the round 4 finalists. Congratulations to all of the finalists that won. We are eager to see your continued progress as you move your technologies to the market through the GO contest. So we're really excited to see what you guys can do in the next several months. Before we wrap things up, I have a few quick acknowledgments as well. I'd like to thank the U.S. Department of Energy for funding this program and being such huge supporters of the prize program. We definitely could not have done it without you. Thanks especially to our guest speaker, William Huston. Thanks for your wonderful talk today. Thank you very much to all of our power connectors, especially Carnegie Mellon University's Wilton E. Scott Institute for Energy Innovation, as well as the University of Arizona's Center for Innovation. Both of these power connectors helped our teams prepare their pitches for Demo Day, and I really appreciate that work because it really showed in the Demo Day preparation of all of our teams. And thank you to all of the connectors that are in our American Made Network. There's many of you that have helped our teams succeed and get to where they are today, so I really appreciate that as well. And a huge thank you to our panel of expert reviewers again, Garrett Nielsen, Beth Kopanis, Suvi Sharma, and Sharon Ware. Their expertise and help for selecting the round 4 finalists was really invaluable. And then finally, thank you to all of the entrepreneurs, engineers, and solar enthusiasts who are out there and who are participating in the Solar Prize or possibly the next prize in the future. If it weren't for you guys, we wouldn't have this big prize and this amazing announcement today. So thank you for all of the innovation that you do. Keep moving forward. Keep reaching out to our network to make things happen, and good things will keep coming to you. And so that wraps up SET Demo Day. Thanks, everyone, and we will see you next time.